everybody, and welcome to Pinned and Broken, a Warpath Universe podcast with a focus on epic Warpath. I'm Drek, and tonight I am joined by Donald, Joshua, and Jordan. Gentlemen, say hello.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
So, jumping right into the exciting news, it is August, and that means a new release for the Tribes and the Vault. And we are getting quite a diverse selection going on lately. We received a lot of ghouls, ghoul bikers, dogs, an aberration, and then the Sternhammer with all of the possible build-out bits in the tribe release for Firefight. In the Vault, we got some ghouls and a stage 3 commander. He was also in the tribe release. Staying on the STL front, the final 4 STL packs, Beerman, Nameless, GCPS, and Marauders, are officially available for Epic. So if you are a printing enthusiast, you can print your army for, a really affordable price. We still have a new book coming sometime September, October. It's going to be the entire Warpath universe, so Dead Zone, Firefight, and Epic. That'll include all the stats for the Wave 3 units. Book's going to coincide with the Global Warpath campaign, which means we'll have an excuse to play games that are not tournaments or an excuse to do another tournament. Whatever, who cares? Just play more Epic. Firefight. Maybe you guys should play Dead Zone. No?
Yeah.
Dead Zone's really more of a Dawn game, you'd think, because it's only like 12 models tops. Come on,
Why
Dawn.
is it make it a game that I would want to play?
Because you only have to paint 12 models.
Well, wasn't there some sort of new, Chaos Dwarf looking models for Dead Zone? Those were kind of interesting.
There was a Vault exclusive Forge Father Strike Force that included the Iron Ancestor Commander from Epic in the Firefight scale, as well as a brand new sculpt of the Drop Trooper.
No, there was... I saw it in the Summer of Sci-Fi post. Where was that?
I don't know. Moving on, global campaign. Aside from that book, while you look, I'll just continue to rattle off the news here. With that global campaign, we'll get the new book that will bring the Nameless to Firefight. It will also bring the Night Stalkers of Firefight out of the beta status and into a fully available army, which means that they'll no longer be beta rules and anyone can play them with any level of subscription on the companion. Epic Warpath Wave 3 Frontier was announced. The current start date listed on the Frontier, however, is December 15th of 2026, which is considerably later than the September-October date we were getting. So I don't know if that's just a placeholder date until things get closer or if they've decided to push it back. These are questions for the Ronnie Rettons and the Clive Stones of the world. And that, at 4 minutes, brings us to a close of the news.
Do you have any guesses on why there's delays?
Well, I love Mantic, but there's always delays. I don't know. And I honestly, I haven't been on Discord much lately with all the shit going on in my life. So I haven't even been keeping my ear to the ground on that recently, to be honest. So, but I will see if I can get answers to that moving forward.
I was mistaken. It was the Matsudan that I saw an image of. They've got... Wow. I thought they were... Yeah, I thought they were chaos dwarfy looking guys in this one image, but I don't know. I guess they're lizards.
The Matsudan are a standalone faction for Dead Zone. You can play a pretty heavy Matsudan list as a Starion in Firefight, but they don't quite have everything they need to be an independent army in that game. Yet. Oh, jinx, Gordo.
I mean, that follow-on key to kind of how they've built out some of the newer King's armies, right? Like, the Salamanders I'm playing used to be a sub-faction or just troops in Forces of Nature, and they've kind of grown out on their own. Same thing with the Trident Realm, right? So
Yeah,
that's a good way to ease a faction in.
and honestly, I would rather see the Matsudan kind of go out on their own, because as I'm rebuilding my Asterian army for Firefight, I'm trying to actually avoid using any Matsudan. But the Asterian army list is so thick for firefighting. You have so many options. It really could stand a trimming down, because it suffers from a bit of an identity crisis. Hey, just a sanity check, guys, as we're reporting. My audio looks super low again. Am I hard to hear?
Yeah,
No.
it's been that basically since you started talking. I just didn't want to interrupt and be like the audio snob.
No. It seems like it comes and goes too. I'm just gonna move this pod mic over here and see if that's the cause of it. Because if it is, I'll just sit it by me. No, it's just.
Can
I
you
don't know.
just turn yourself up like 15%?
I can turn myself on anytime I want to. Up. My bad. I misunderstood.
Turn yourself up to 11.
If I could find Discord. What the hell? There I am. Oh, I am full volume already.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, we'll muddle through and I'll fix it in post. Oh, does it help if I do this? Stick the mic in my mouth?
No.
No, it's exactly
No.
the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I don't have a whole hell of a lot more to say this episode, so we'll just keep moving on and get to you guys talking about the tournament we played a few weeks back. So tonight would have been the GCPS episode. Kirill wants to be heavily involved in that and did not have time, and we all managed to get together and play in a tournament. Well, I played one game, but yeah, so I thought it would be fun to break down our tournament and the games that we played. Thanks to Josh, we got 3 games reported, and I would have recorded 3 games if my phone hadn't ran out of space during the 3rd game. So I got 2 games, which those will start coming up on YouTube soon on the Gamer Direct channel. So, how do you guys want to do this? You want to each go round by round, or do you want to kind of start with a round and each talk about your game? What's
From
your preference?
order of
Well,
placement.
we can kind of segue this a little bit. I think we should go round by round, because Don and I played each other round 1, and then Josh played a game, and then the next round, Josh and I played each other. So there's going to be enough overlap here. So.
Oh yeah, and then I played Don round 3.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's just start straight off. So we only had 6 people show up. I had planned for 12. I only got 6, which is fine. It was a pretty intimate little tournament. 2 of the players were not brand new. Trade played a couple of games, but it was CJ's first time playing at all. So they were both new players to Epic, and they just jumped right in. They're my local guys who are interested in playing. So it was a nice experience for them. But round 1, we had Jordan's Marauders versus Don's Plague. You guys want to talk about that round?
One of us
Talk
might.
about our list. Yeah. Yeah. Talk about our list a little bit.
Jordan wants to talk about it. 21-6 on scenario points, 945 on 1 to 150 on kill points. It was a decisive victory for Jordan.
So, I will say, my ability to score with the list I took and the way that the missions were written was very on point.
Careful, buddy. Don't hurt your arm patting yourself on the back so hard.
No. Like I'm not gonna give my credit for any player skill in this tournament, right? Like, I aggressively jumped on stuff mid board, turn one, extremely easy when no one else could, and then I essentially got to turtle a little bit, and I know against Don I ended up with a few advantageous positions. Also, I'll let him talk a little more about it, but he kept enough in reserve that I think I just had too much on the table in forward firing positions that just the standard odds of the dice and the firing lanes that I got to set up because of how quickly I deployed forward gave me a very, very, very good advantage. I jumped out to a very, very quick, I think it was probably up 10 victory points to 2 or 3 on turn 1.
Yeah, I had the advantage on the scenario initially because I had more active objectives on my end, but Jordan's mobility and weight of fire played to his advantage because I had put 2 squads of zombies and my Colossus in reserves. So that was 2 turns that he. Somebody talking?
No, just
I was getting feedback from somebody. Anyways, so that had 4, 5, like 700 points and off the table for the first 2 turns, and that just gave Jordan the advantage to controlling those early on objectives from midfield back. And then turn 2, it switched to his advantage on the tabletop, and I just wasn't able to push the objectives that he was already controlling or get to his side of the field. So, even though I did take a double heavy list and I took the mech was having to punch more above its weight than it probably needed to because of how few other points and support that I had on the table for it.
I was going to ask you. I was curious how the Plague Battle mech performed because I know the GCPS one does a lot of work for people. So
it should have performed better than it did. His dice were not kind. And if I remember correctly, too, I think I kind of aimed the wolf crawler mech at it, and I concentrated my rainmakers and my wolf crawler and heavies at it for 2 turns straight.
That is how I remember seeing the game go.
And let's say if I remember correctly, Don, you rolled slightly below average with your shooting, and I rolled not extremely well, but like slightly above average.
Yes,
and maybe a little higher than that. So, I got it off the table probably a turn quicker than I expected and lost less than I expected against it.
I was also weirdly pinned in a position where I had to choose between shooting things that could kill it and shooting things that were scoring on your end, and I think I just spread myself thin on those options. And I couldn't get rid of the things I wanted because I was trying to take on too many units. So like I said, I was trying to punch above its weight.
It's a little weird because, like, I know we discussed the whole reserve tactic using the Colossus, but it almost feels like if you're going to bring the Colossus and the Battle Mech, you're almost better off not doing the reserve thing, so that there are more targets to protect your Battle Mech and Colossus from getting nuked.
I don't know why you'd ever put the Colossus in reserve.
Because it
It can
dies.
get chewed up. Yeah, I mean it's only armor 9 compared to some of the other super heavies, so it's a little easier to wound.
It can never get across field to do anything. It just would always die.
It pretty much has to be in melee to be effective. So
We had talked about putting in reserves, that and the zombies in reserves, and seeing if they fare better, in which they did. But losing it for 2 turns and the game being basically over in 4, so it doesn't really get to come on and do a whole lot at that point.
I think you're better just taking 2 battle mechs if you're gonna.
He didn't take the second Battle Mech. He had a chance for one as a prize, and he didn't take it.
We will get to my thoughts on that when we get to our game, Josh, because on that game, I had all my units on from the start. So,
Well, Jordan or Don, do you have any other final thoughts about your first round?
Mine was not so much a comment on the round specifically. It's just the way that these. I wish there was more variety in scenarios. It just seems like a lot of battling over these tokens. And yes, one of the missions had kill points in it too, so that does contribute. But coming from a game like Drop Zone Commander, where there was a lot of variety, and even how you could utilize even the same objectives, it just seems like, all right, here's 5 or 6 of these tokens. Some of them flip on and off, and then the rest of it is just you hope that the table fits your army style. That was the other thing I will say about that army, or that first round, is that the table benefited Jordan's army better. So it does seem that the table setup can really play a factor in the way you fare based on the list.
My table setups.
Well, no, because Jordan's not talking shit about it because it did good for him. But it didn't do me any favors.
Don't tempt me to rewrite
I'm not saying
customized scenarios moving forward for events, because I am down to clown.
I think that we need to experiment. I think we need to go old school with the way that we have done our tournaments and use them for pseudo experimentation, play testing, to help better the game, whether they want us to or not.
Well, I know the rules committee likes getting feedback from events, so that's absolutely something that we can do. And I do intend to try to keep doing quarterly events, even if we only have a half dozen players. I would like to think that we're going to get more, but yeah, I'm certainly down for tweaking the scenario pack. Because every time I run one of these, it's kind of in service of thinking ahead to Adepticon and trying to make sure that event is going to be as bitchin' as it can be.
Yes, of course. And so I think brainstorming on at least one alternate scenario type would be kind of cool.
Who can demo the most buildings?
That's not fair. Some factions can't even do it.
And in rolls the double magma destroyer list.
Right, yeah.
Well, Josh, you got the sacrificial lamb that was Trey round 1. How did you abuse him?
I had a really fun game with Trey.
He's good people. I like him.
Yeah, no, Trey was awesome. I believe we killed almost exactly the same amount of points. Yeah, we
755 to 735. He actually outkilled you by 20 points.
He did. Yeah.
Doing my enforcers proud.
It was a really good play. It was like the first time I put the Dwarven Drop Fortress on the table. So I was playing Forge Fathers, and I had 3 companies, one with the drop fortress, and then a whole bunch of Sternhammer, battle tanks, steel warriors, and in the drop fortress was Thorgrim and the Wreck here, because I had points extra. Otherwise, I wouldn't have paid more for them. They did okay over the course of the tournament, but like, I don't know.
Your opinion of them hasn't changed as a unit?
Yeah, I mean, like, yay, go them. They did things. I don't know that I want to pay more for what they did, but they were there. They contributed. But from a Forge Father's perspective, really happy with the list I ran. And what it really came down to is we were doing this on 6x4 tables at 2,000 points. And I have struggled in the past with Forge Fathers with getting to the enemy deployment zone. That's not a problem when you drop a drop fortress into the back lines. And
I can attest to that.
you're putting down 13, 12, what is it? 13, 8. Yeah, like 13 scoring points for unit strength just in a small section in the backfield. And you know, some of the missions have the, you know, who can control the backfield. Well, Drop Fortress is doing that. But overall, my game against Trey was learning how to play the Drop Fortress, and before it comes out on video, because it's out there, I did misplay the Drop Fortress. When it comes in, it does not have its Overwatch token. Would have only had. I do apologize. I don't think it really matters much, but that is something to point out that you cannot do.
Yes, you can't cheat.
You cannot cheat. That is a very important rule. Don't cheat.
That singular Overwatch token won you every single game that you won.
Yes.
It's the only thing that made any game for you.
Now that I know about such cheating, I'm going to claim that that is exactly how you won our game.
It was really fun, and it wasn't actually that far in score against each other, because it was what, 15 tournament points. No, scenario points was 13 to 25, which sounds like a lot, but that just means like I was on 3 more objectives than he was at one point.
Yeah, 25-13 was your final, and the kills were almost even.
Yeah, so like it could have easily, if it had gone like another round, and with like how the objectives flipped over, potentially it could have been Trey's. So it wasn't a crushing on Trey. He was a very sporting player, and I did enjoy playing him a lot.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of playing him in Epic, in Dead Zone, in Firefight, in Halo. So he's a fun opponent. I don't know that he wins a lot of games, but he's always a good time to play against. So
is that what makes it fun for you?
It is nice to win a game every now and then. He beat me last time I played Epic with him. He won. It was an abbreviated game. It was the last tournament. It was tournament before this that I ran at the store. He showed up a little late, and I played him round 1, and yeah, he beat me that game. But yeah.
And then the third table for people in round 1 was what, Plague versus Enforcers?
Yep, that was Josh versus CJ. Josh won that 18-12 and outkilled CJ 465 to 85.
That's a pretty low scoring game.
It was. I think Josh was also doing some teaching though, because that was literally CJ's first game.
Okay.
Well, That's not true. He had one demo game against Trey when I ran a demo day like a week or two prior at the shop. So he had seen the game, he was familiar with the rules, but that was the first time. Like, here's 2,000 points, and I'm going to try to play. So
I wouldn't have known it based on our game.
I know I think you got your butt kicked by both. I mean,
No, I won that game, but I wouldn't have known that he was. I could tell I didn't know his army quite as well, but I didn't know that he was behind on the rules like that.
Yeah.
He's a quick learner.
he was putting the bookwork in. He read the rules and did the demo, and then he's into the game. I talked to him pretty regularly about his army painting and whatnot. He's invested, and his army's starting to shape up. It's starting to look pretty sharp. So
I mean,
He's
you and I,
sticking-
we talked to him after the tournament for a bit. He was kind of poking at, what could I change, and a little bit of that too, if I remember right. Like, what should I do next?
yeah, he's competitive. Like he wants to have fun, but he's having fun when he's winning. So he's definitely gonna take the tournament. And I think you even said to him, he's like, the best way to learn how to play the game is just lose.
I didn't say it exactly like that.
Yeah.
But I'd say a big thing in your enjoyment in wargaming is, yes, it's always going to be fun to win, but you need to be able to learn how to have fun losing, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's.
You need to learn how to have fun just getting to play the game. Well, heading into round two, Josh was in a pretty good lead at 40 points overall, followed by Jordan at 36. So round two, Josh, your Forge Fathers took on Jordan's Marauders. At the top table, you wanna talk about that game?
We killed next to nothing of each other.
Yo, no shit, Jesus. 75 to nothing in that game. Jordan, your Marauders didn't kill a single dwarf.
Nope, there was a lot of attrition. There was a lot of partial squads on both sides. Though I was losing the attrition battle. Overall scenario setup, table advantage, if you want to call it that. I will say it was rinse, wash, repeat. I had dwarfs with short legs that couldn't get anywhere, and I was everywhere I wanted to be as soon as I wanted to be there.
I'd agree with that 100%.
Yeah, you seem to have really unlocked the Marauders and how to play them after a few thumpings in some past tournaments.
So this was bigger tables, right? Because I think it was 4x4s on every other tournament I've played up to this point. And was it slightly higher points? So yeah, maybe there's a little less restriction on me. In that, in 1,500 points, maybe there was a few more hard choices that, I either had to choose mobility or AP, and here I was able to take a little bit of both. So that could have been partly it, right? Like, maybe the setup with the lists is they are much better force at 2,000 than they are 1,500. I don't know. But I will say, if we played a full 6 rounds, if things kept going the way they were going, I think Josh would have ended up beating me. But
well, according to the tournament pack, a full game was only 5 rounds. Thank you.
Sorry, 5 rounds.
No,
I mean, it's hard to say, but I think I would have lost the attrition battle easily, and he was getting into better positions than me. I guess it would depend on a couple of kills, but
yeah, it was a very tactical game.
We both agreed that he was in a stronger position going forward probably than I was.
Well, yeah, in scenario points, it was a 25-22 game. It doesn't get a hell of a lot closer than that.
No, well, and you know what? I should apologize to you, Derek. So like, if people end up watching the video, but like Jordan and I took some liberty and maybe abused your friendship a little, but when you said dice down, we were still like kibitzing about the game and like potentials, and you were like, would you guys just record it? And like we still went on for like 10 minutes trying to figure things out.
Fucking slow
I think
player.
it was only a little bit fair too, because there was a couple of times that we got a little too far into the woods of like, how's this rule work? We wasted a little too much time.
Oh, I mean, I don't care about
I was
that.
unintentionally slow playing Josh, I guess.
No, you're not.
You know, it was not supposed to be the most cutthroat competitive tournament out there, so everyone had fun with the important part. So.
Oh no, Jordan and I think we had a blast facing each other because it was a very tactical game using all the little trickeries each faction could throw out there. And then I set up this big elaborate plan at the very end of the game, and I was walking Jordan through how I could win. And then as I'm explaining it, I'm realizing, oh, this is stupid. It doesn't work this way, because as a Marauder player who has a ton of command dice, I think in the final game turn, you had like 12 points to spend.
I don't know that I had that many. I had a lot, but I don't know that I had that many. I might have, though. There was one of the rounds against you that I rolled like crazy hot.
Jordan, if I'm not mistaken, though, they're not a command-rich army in Firefight, are they?
In Firefight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they can be. It might be how you take them. Like you certainly kind of sort of can, but what are you going to have in your list, right? Like,
right.
I got kind of high on dice in Firefight when was it Ripper Maulers give a black dice. So I don't feel like they were that far behind, but I also don't think
you weren't maximizing command points in Firefight.
I don't think anyone does as much. I don't know that because of the rerules. I think they're a big sway in Firefight. I think they're a much bigger part of the game in Epic than they are Firefight, even though they are a very large part of Firefight.
Well, yeah, because that whole victory path I was laying out there, showing all these pin markers I just needed to place on the table, and then as soon as I got done like laying it all out there, I was like, oh yeah, he's got 1 million command points. He can just take the pin marker off the table.
Well, that's the other thing too, is in Firefight, there's less regret on using a certain order on a certain unit because you can use the same order every activation. You just can't, you can't stack on the same unit like in Firefight. But
You
it's
can't
also
stack on units in Firefight either.
No, I know. But you also only get one use of any specific order on any given turn.
Yeah, God, I know. If that weren't the case, the council would be expecting every turn or every activation.
Versus in Epic, and I think it's kind of scenario specific that it can kind of specifically weigh things. But the fact that you can use the same order if you have the points on every single activation it's a big thing.
Yeah,
it makes something that's already important even more important, command point wise, I think.
Well, gentlemen, do you have any final thoughts on your round 2 game against each other?
No, it was fun. I think if it kept going, I think dwarves would have had a pretty good footing. But Jordan's maneuverability right off the rip to just go ham and getting the scenario points that first turn 1 and 2, that it's impressive.
Well, Donald, you had CJ for some hot plague-on-plague action in round 2. How'd that game go for you?
It was good. I think we both capped on our scenario points.
You did. 25
Okay.
each, but you ran away with kill points 695 to 185, which
I
is way more
did.
exciting than the game we just talked about.
I was giving him a quick and unjust lesson on how ineffective the Colossus can be when it has to survive. I just sicked my battle mech on it the whole time until it died, and he was like not happy about its ineffectiveness. And at the end of the game, I had to kind of let him know about it. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a dead unit, and unless you can get it up the field. I was like, that's why I'm putting it in reserves, and I was explaining all to him or whatever. So, again, this was a I had the same thing with the Colossus and 2 squads of zombies outside of not coming out until round 3. So, I probably could have taken more of that scenario away from him with those units on the table, but I was again trying out this new way to handle using the Colossus. So.
Well, having done it 2 games in a row, then how did you feel about that strategic choice?
It's more survivable. It did kill units both games. I took out a squad of Jordans, in the round it came on. I took out I think it took 2 rounds to get Jordan's units off, but it basically one-shotted a squad off of in round 2. So it did get on. It was effective. Sitting that many points off the board was not a good enough trade-off to keep it alive, I guess. So the hunt continues on how to keep that thing more playable in its current iteration.
Anything else you want to say about round 2?
No.
Okay. Well, then we will move on to round 3. Round 3, we saw Jordan at the top table against Josh Lohman, who transformed into an overweight bald man. And you and Josh, you and Don ended up playing each other on the second table. So, Jordan, do you want to talk about your game against not Josh's enforcers?
I still think if Jordan had to fight Josh's enforcers, he would have been pasted.
So Josh ended up having to leave after round 2 due to family stuff, and I played round 3 for him. His enforcer list consisted of 4 squadrons of persecutor bombers. Which, in talking to him, I think during the round 2 game, we were chatting about it, and he's like, "Yeah, it's cool." He's like, "But I probably could have gotten by with just 2 of them." And that would have freed up for like another squad of Pathfinders or something. But it was interesting because I don't think anyone. Well, that's not true. Trey brought the anti-air tank for the enforcers in his game against him, but he just murdered it. He's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to kill that."
Yeah.
So, I think it would have came down to because target priority, I had a few things that could shoot at long range. I only had the 1 AA unit with the heavies. Can't remember if I had two units of heavies or 1, but so yeah, who's to say if I would have had an answer? I think I would have had to have gotten pseudo lucky with the heavies to clear a squad turn 1. And would I been in a firing position for that? Who knows? But also, if you're in the air, you're not scoring objectives very well. So,
yeah,
it's hard to say. If
doesn't matter how many squads of commandos you blow up if you can't steal the objective back.
Yeah. So if we're saying, he would have likely gotten to slaughter me pretty good. would he have slaughtered me fast enough to catch up on points because of his lack of scoring ability because of the list he took?
But instead, you dealt with my double super heavy list where I brought a Draken and a Maven. So
I'm curious how to hear about the performance of the double super heavies from the Enforcer standpoint.
I'm a Maven fan. I think it might be a little overpointed, but it's a great unit. Heavily armored. The guns aren't bad. Good mobility, great command dice off of it. You get an orange and a green, if I remember correctly. So, and then it reduces the cost of go to a single point. So it really lets you get the army moving. My list wasn't overly complex. It was a Maven and a captain, and I had 2 squads of operatives, and I had 2 squads of heavies, and then I had the Draken with the 2 squads of peacekeepers in it. And the Draken made me a believer. I dropped that in Jordan's backboard, and then due to poor utilization and movement with it, I failed to bother to score any objectives with it until the game was well out of hand. But being able to drop it off with a pair of peacekeepers, my dice didn't want his rainmakers to die, and his dice really wanted my peacekeepers to die. So, like, I kind of kept him in place, chewing him up, but it didn't really matter because in place he was on the objectives. So he just kind of ran that score up, and final score was 25-18, but I don't think it was as close as that number looks. Like, he was in control of that game from round 1 and was never really at a point where he was going to lose control of it.
Well, also I stopped at 25, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, Dick, you did.
Yeah, my dice were hot. Yeah, you were killing me good. I was killing you even better. For as little as I was able to kill Josh's dwarves.
You made up for it on enforcers. 910 to 450 was the final kill point wise.
And I will say it felt like I mean, the whole tournament I was able to, and I think it's maybe because I had so much more infantry up board is why I was able to effectively use my faction order a lot easier than I ever could before. But I think I had the easiest time of it against you. And I think partially that is, you know, you have less units on the table, right? So just target opportunity wise, average of like, okay, if I'm going to be shooting stuff, I'm going to be stacking up on same targets more against the enforcers than any other faction other than maybe the dwarves.
Yeah, well, and it didn't help that almost half my list was invested in 2 units. So they needed to do more work than they did. But I certainly could see myself enjoying bringing the Draken more often, though.
I mean, between my wolf crawler and my super extremely expensive rainmakers, I wasn't that far behind that in 2 units either. Like, that's the weird thing is, my second heavy. I'm drawing a brain fart right now. Can't remember the name of it.
Is it the Chimera or whatever?
Is it the Chimera?
It is a Chimera. The Chimera is a Assyrian transport.
Yeah, I was thinking the Chimeras were just the regular airships, but
those are the Hornets.
You guys, oh, okay. So the Chimera is only 100 points more than the Rainmakers.
Oh, jeez.
Right. So, other than it takes up that unit takes up so many slots. Super heavies do that makes it a little harder to take than the points as a second one. Because I feel like the wolf crawler is just such an auto take for the orcs.
I think that wolf crawler ended up doing a lot of work for you throughout the course of the tournament.
It did. It sucked up a ton of shots from my battle mech.
It's a good one.
Well, it's such long range. It's such a high volume of AP2.
AP what?
2, right? Yeah. What is that? And I guess, you know, as hard as I found it to use my faction order in previous games, if I'm being honest, if I have a sacrificial unit and just use it to set up the wolf crawler mech, 8 shots at 4-up accuracy, 8.
Which you did, you dick. At one point, you shot your mules at me just so you could trigger that rule with your. Like you can't hurt it. You're like, I don't have to. I just shot at it.
Right. Yep. Well, and I guess that's another. You know, we all poo-pooed on transports for so long, right? Activations and things that create shots. Having transports a wasted shot of I don't care if it hits or not. I'm just going to use it to double activate to use this rule. It's a reason for me to take transports.
Or even just bait out movement when people are moving stuff around. You're like, all right, I'm not going to move that unit yet. Let me throw away this command transport. And, you know, if the other person didn't have command transports, then they've got to use an actual movement with a unit somewhere.
You did do an instant wipe of my brawlers off the table turn 1. But for their utter total lack of usage, the transports that those guys came in on, you know, those mules, they did a lot of work that game over on that
Yeah,
flank.
well, I couldn't justify shooting them because like it's just a mule. What do I care? But at the same time, leaving it there was just an opportunity for you. So yeah, it was a real Kobayashi Maru there.
Like in hindsight, maybe you should have done something about them, and it might have.
Listen,
Activation,
it's not like they were giving you a free
screwing-
Overwatch. I mean, it didn't win every game for you.
No. No, but I think it did prevent you from for one turn, it did prevent you from moving up onto that mid-board objective.
Yeah, they got in my way. Which again was one of the suggestions for their usage is that you can sacrifice it to block. You can, in your case, trigger your command order. So there's a lot of functionality for them to be had as we grow in this game. Josh, you played Roach.
I did. You want to
you
lead this
guys
one off?
Both tied up 25 all on scenario points. You killed 555 to his 415. But you got the win.
Because I ran like a coward.
So there was 2 things going on with that on my end. Yeah, he did run like a coward. He ran away from my Colossus. So what I did is I kept the battle mech center, took up as many shooting lanes as I could on as many objectives as I could, and ran up my Colossus to try to flank him. And Josh then decided I don't give a shit about the objectives on that side of the board, and so then I spent like 3 turns trying to get my Colossus to even reach something. He kept running away from it. So even though it was on the board the entire time, Josh spoiled my plans by being a wimp about it.
It did get in like a charge at the end there and wipe a unit or 2.
Very end, yeah. So it did kill units. It killed stuff every game, unlike in the previous games that I used it. So I will give it that. It didn't kill over 400 points worth of stuff though. So again, still sits on the. I don't know if I want to bring this in its current iteration. And then Josh was playing some interesting tactics with his transports, taking on an objective that I could have blew them off of, but then he also was lining up other units that could take out my mech. So I was trying to focus on them, and then he plopped that his drop fortress in my backfield, so that I had to redirect attention to that. And so again, it just seemed like I was having a little bit of issue focusing on what I actually wanted the battle mech to do. And then Josh forced my hand with trying to redirect it towards the drop fortress. So the double heavies kind of cost me in being able to continue to retake objectives.
Out of curiosity, did the drop forcers ever die during the course of the tournament?
Oh no, I don't think it ever even lost a point of resilience.
What? Yeah.
I stripped it of one, I think.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it puts out some good firepower. It's not like the most threatening thing in the world. It's the 2 squads of dwarfs that come down with it that's really the issue.
Yeah.
What did you put in it? You put Rikers and
the Thorgrim. Yeah, so the Thorgrim did okay. I don't know that I would take 2 units of them, but 1 unit inside of it is a good sweet spot because they are pretty expensive. The rake here, like I was talking about before, yeah, they come down. They do pinning. Oh, okay. It's they're okay. Regular dwarfs will do the same thing with a command point, but yeah, it would come down, claim a table quarter basically. Most people in the backfield don't have enough stuff just sitting there, and you can put it wherever is most vulnerable to your opponent. So, highly recommend if you're a dwarf player, go get you a drop fortress.
Do you feel that the amount it can hold is overpowered?
No. So for dwarfs, because we're not crossing the battlefield, as quickly. I mean, I say that, but dwarves are actually faster than like GCPS. Like if we're spending some command points, but like if it was just 1 squad of infantry, it would need a super big point discount, I would say. Because I think
that 400 points you're bringing, I mean, it's not bringing enough guns to justify that. So
yeah, I wonder if my only complaint that I had with it wasn't so much the unit itself; it was what it was able to bring with it.
Yeah, because
it's just kind of an unanswerable issue to deal with, especially at the time when you're bringing that on, because of the way that the scenarios for the game are currently set up. You are having to push things at least midfield. When this thing lands in the backfield,
right?
You essentially just have to be like, okay, well, that is gone. That objective, whatever it is you're going for, I just can't do anything about it.
And that, I mean, yes, you're right. The way scenarios are written for Epic Warpath, just being able to claim 1 objective over your opponent probably is going to win you the game. That's why I'm saying dwarf players should take it all the time, because otherwise you'd have to. I mean, even if you had 2 of your plague mechs shooting at it the entire time, would it have died? Maybe.
But also, that's 800 points focusing on this 1 unit.
Right.
it's just I found by the end of that game, I was like, I would just ignore it if I had to do it again.
And I think ignoring it's probably the right answer. Kill whatever troops come out of it and then just skedaddle. I will say the quick fix I thought was going to be more impactful for the infantry and stuff, but like the Thorgrim, you want to go into assaults with them, so quick fix doesn't work in assaults. So, you can throw down the infantry and people can overwatch into them, and you'll lose a couple of bases, but they'll still get to fire because of quick fix. But it wasn't as powerful as I thought it would be in my head.
You are going to get more work out of it. Well, it depends on, like I said, it depends on the scenario. Like in our setup that we had, because they were focusing more heavily on melee for assault, it worked really well for them. But if they were hanging high and dry, then it's not doing anything for them.
So, yeah, and I mean, Drop Fortress is a good one. I think Don. I mean, we both maxed on scenario points, but because I was able to camp on that one objective that I took from Don with my Drop Fortress, and I gave up the one objective to him. I wasn't even going to contest it. We were fighting basically for the center, and that's what Don was saying before. Was I just kept throwing some of my command transports out there, and go ahead, shoot my, what are they, 40 points? What with your big guns to deny me the objective.
Yeah, it was an interesting scenario in that I needed it to shoot my mech to shoot other things. So I was giving up those points, but also in the trade-off is if I had even killed those transports, I didn't have anything strong enough to go out there and sit on that objective.
No, but I was able to, for like 2 turns, score with just transports before I could even get infantry up with them.
Yeah. Had I put the Colossus straight up the middle of the board, I think maybe I could have turned that game a little bit better.
Yeah, probably.
Because I would have at least made it so you had to think about what you were gonna shoot at.
Well, the final scores for the tournament ended up being Jordan in first place with a total of 116 tournament points, a 3-0 record, and 1855 kill points. He literally won on all the phases. And then Josh, you ended up in second place with 107 tournament points, a 2-1 record, and 1365 kill points. And then Lohman ended up, well, he was 2-0 on the day, but his placing in the tournament was 2-1 because, an inept general in round 3. But 1625 kill points. And then we had CJ with the Plague at 87, Don with the Plague at 81, and then Trey brought up the rear with his Enforcers at 57 points. Don did take home Best Painted based off of the popular vote of the people present. And Trey ended up getting Most Sporting. So, prize support was just the trophies I had printed and painted. And then I ended up printing off a Maven, a Plague Mech, an Adis Clade Warden, and a Maul Battleship. Don, you went home with the Maul, right?
Yes.
And then CJ ended up, because you guys were just like, we can print our own if we need. But CJ ended up taking the Plague Mech home, so that was a big boost for his army. And Trey ran off with that Clade Warden and the Maven. So,
well, it's good for them. They'll have some beefier armies in the next go around.
Yeah, no, well, he grabbed the Clade Warden because he got first pick for Most Sporting, and he grabbed that Clade Warden. And I was like, seriously, you're not going to take the Maven for your army? He's like, I really like the big, Ava style mech.
Mm.
And then he swapped it out, and then when it was all said and done, like you and Jordan were just like, yeah, I don't need anything. So he's just like nabbed it up and took it. So
I mean, I thought the tournament, it felt good. Like, I didn't feel like the tournament had glaring issues. I know Don thinks the terrain setup was horrible, and but it felt like a good tournament. It was fun. Everybody there was having a good time. I enjoyed the 6x4 tables, but
Same.
it also makes me think like either your army has to be super, super mobile, or you do need to bring some drop troops to like really be a threat in a tournament setting.
it makes the prospect of Hornets and Accuser transports much larger. Or I can't remember what the dropship is for the dwarves, but your airborne dropships to actually get some stuff moving across the board quickly.
You're just buying the drop fortress at that point.
I was missing my Hornets.
Oh, your
Well-
your one Hornet unit was pretty good. They came out and was shooting some stuff up.
It was the transport ones. They don't have any armor piercing.
Would
Oh.
you say it stung that you didn't have them?
God damn it. Jordan, I wasn't prepared for you to go down.
Did we want to give a quick rundown of our list for the listeners to have any kind of clue of what?
Yeah,
Okay.
because the next thing I kind of wanted to segue into was that I know Josh played with the nameless, but you guys all seem kind of set in your factions at this point. Like this is your faction identity. So I was kind of curious about how you were feeling overall about your faction. So Don, why don't you run down your list quick and kind of give us your feelings on the plague overall.
Yeah, so I had 3 groups, 3 companies. First one was basic stage 3A command. Gave a mule, and then 2 squads of ghouls, and the Colossus. Company 2 was another 3A command. 2 squads of ghouls, and a plague mech. And my third company was another 3A command. Some HMGs. Squad of zombies. Only 1 squad of zombies. Anyway, and then leapers, weapons teams, plague hornet. The hornets are the ones with the capacity, and then a squad of plague mules for the HMGs to get around. The list was lacking AP other than the mech. And so I think I just was expecting the mech to do a little more than it was doing. But I also then was hamstringing it by having the Colossus and the zombies not be on the table. And that then puts it in a problem with it has more to shoot at than it can handle. So I would say I would rather have had more tanks on the table rather than the Colossus to give it some additional help. And one thing that I'm noticing is the Colossus in reserves can get to a unit pretty much every time it comes on. But because you have to be 9 inches away from a unit, the zombies will never reach a unit because they can only go 8 inches on a sprint. So that means if they don't come on until turn 3, they're actually not even being effective until turn 4 by putting them in reserves. So that makes them extra difficult to figure out how to... Yeah, it makes it extra difficult to figure out like what I want to do with them. The only thing that
you have to put them in a transport. because there's 9
Yeah.
bases.
So, like, getting them at the field is really hard. They die pretty quickly, and giving them the 6-up saves is nice, but then it's just like I'm throwing all my command dice to keep this unit alive, and it's not even living. The only thing they did is they did a good job with the the second scenario with the backfield scoring, because I was able to then just bring them on the backfield and just let them sit there and score. So I would say on this list, I think at this point, I don't think the Colossus is going to see tabletop time until it gets rules revisions. Having given it a second chance, trying it in reserves. Yes, it did kill stuff, but it's not punching above its weight. So I would have much rather have had the plague tanks out there than that unit. So that would be the biggest change I would make. My infantry do not survive.
No, your zombies nor your ghouls are really survivable.
No. Or HMGs, they're any more survivable.
Yeah, they're just ghouls with bigger guns.
So I have to pay a lot of points to get a unit out there that even has some sort of survivability, which kind of sucks. So either I have to win by numbers, or I have to hope that the board is set up in a way that I can keep them in a position where they can score without being out in the open. And again, I think that scenario 1 against Jordan on that particular table benefited him because his infantry can survive in the open and mine just could not. So they were getting shredded before they even got up to do anything. Yeah, that's how I feel about that list and the play so far with the faction.
Josh, how about you? You want to talk about the Forge Daddies? And it seems like you've abandoned the Squidwards for now.
No, I'm going back to Nameless. The only reason I didn't play Nameless was because I could not make the list I wanted before the tournament, because I couldn't print out more. But that got resolved like 3 days before the tournament. The rest of all the armies were released, so I was able to get what I need to be able to make my perfect Adepticon winning list. But but for the Forge Fathers, my list was the Drop Fortress, the Thorgrim, the 1 unit Wreckier, then just the Chief Broker with a command transport, 2 Steel Warriors, Iron Ancestor, Sternhammer Battle Tank. Third company was Chief Brocker, command transport, 2 units of Steel Warriors, and a Sternhammer Battle Tank. And the Steel Warriors just ran up the table. They just kept pushing the entire time. Sternhammers tried to shoot at the biggest threats. They never ended up killing any big Colossuses or super heavies or anything. But they were my, anti-tank units that shot at things and was a problem for other people to deal with. So they did their jobs. Forge Fathers, I think, are very competitive in a couple of different ways you can build your lists. I just think if you really want to win, you bring the Drop Fortress.
Do you feel, and maybe this is just my opinion, but Steel Warriors and Sternhammer, as far as base units go, are just kind of top tier?
They're the PB&J of your list. They're just and everything else just fills in around them.
Well, Jordan, what about you and the Marauders?
I do feel a little bit better about the faction after that tournament, and I think winning does that. I know. I wish I had the troop access that you have as a Marauder. It feels really weird that they have 3 assaulting baseline troops and only 1 shooty one. So like and maybe when to segue into this next section, right? Like they've more stuff's going to come, right? So maybe it'll be better later, but I feel a bit, I don't want to say starved for choice, but there's very specific models that I'm going to take that basically means there's certain things that I'm never going to take that I'd like to. I can't. So yeah, I don't know. Like I want to bring more of the support choices, but I like bringing rainmakers, and it just doesn't leave room for much.
It's hard to not want to bring rainmakers in every version of the Warpath universe. I don't know that I have much to say about Enforcers. At the end of the day, I only got the 1 game in, but it was nice to get that Draken on the table.
It was nice to take that ass beating that you took.
It was nice to you know what? It was nice to play the game. After watching 2 full rounds, it was nice to sit down and play a game. I wish Peacekeepers weren't a specialist unit, because then I would take nothing but Peacekeepers. Price be damned, but you know, I just need to get more games in. I think at this point, you guys have probably played like 2 or 3 times the number of games I've actually managed to play because I keep running the events. So. But yeah, I'm an Enforcer player. There's just no other questions about it. Well, guys, saunter ourselves into a hobby desk conversation. I finished that Veerman commission I was working on last time. It's out the door and on the way. I'm working on some fruit, and I've got a Plague Army box behind that. That's commission work that I need to start working on. So get to build and paint some Plague. And personally, I've been working on redoing my Asterians for Firefight for the Summer of Sci-Fi campaign. I've knocked out 2 squads of marionettes. So that's like 18 total models, and a squad of Kalishi, which is another 10 models. And I think I've got 2 squads of ciphers on deck next. Don, what's sitting on your hobby desk?
I am currently finishing up my newest Blood Bowl team. They're pretty much done, so this will be a real accomplishment for me to actually have a full team / army, whatever, available to play.
Man, wait a minute.
In quite some time.
I don't know if I can find it fast enough. Here we go.
Ah, thank you. Yes. That feels good. And then after I get done with that, I'm gonna turn my attention back to my epic Plague, because I want to button up what I have started on that before I let it go for too long and then forget what I was even doing.
Did you write on your paint scheme?
Right. And then I need to put a ton of time into building a bunch of stuff that I have half built. So I want to get the rest of the epic starters that I got for free built, just so I have those units available in case I want to do some demo games or whatever. And then my Plague Army for epic is calling me as well.
Don, are you going to be a future Pathfinder?
No.
Oh, I tried. Rick, if you're listening, sorry. Trying to recruit. Rick doesn't need you. He's already up there in the Michigan area. So.
The U.S. Manta guy is like within a half hour of me, so
right.
I don't think the area is starved for support.
No, it is not. What about you, Josh? What's going on your workbench?
Well, the summer of plunder is over, so I've had some different Spanish units that I've painted up to participate in the Blood and Plunder game system. But I have a whole bunch of nameless staring at me that want some paint on them, so I'm gonna get to work. I've been showing Don some of the nameless that I'm looking to run, and I want to steal best painted from him next time. So, I'm
Nice.
going to try and one up him.
Nice. Well, Jordan, I know you were shooting some progress pics last night, so I know you've got something on the hobby desk.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of salamanders this week. And it's kind of the first painting I've done in a bit. I've done some assembling of firefight dwarves the past month or so. So I was more assembling than painting. But yeah, I got in a pretty good painting groove on some more salamanders.
Nice.
I was working on some Rhinosaur cavalry last night. I was touching up a bunch of salamander primes that I kind of had half done as we were talking tonight, and base coated a Leeklodon. Audience, any Kings guy know how to say that?
I'm sorry, we're not recording in front of a live studio audience. So.
Well, I know, but they can always comment later. Tons of listeners that we have. And I finally got around to printing Rockwus for salamanders and the Ripper Mech for firefight. So
hey, I know a guy's got a paint tutorial up for at least one of those.
Right. So I got those both printed. I got to assemble Rockwus, and then I started actually just painting the. I had the Clan Lord on a Fire Drake, the Clan Lord portion of that painted already. So yesterday I got to starting to paint a Fire Drake to put the Clan Lord on.
Well, listen, if you've got any questions about painting those, ask Don because he's the actual professional.
I'm going for just good enough.
You know what? Tabletop quality looks far better than a gray wave any day of the week. Well, guys. Oh, you started to speak right when I was gonna. Go ahead.
Yeah, after Adepticon, I splurged and got myself a Harder and Steamback airbrush. Happy to say I used one-step paints and speed paints through it yesterday. Plus, I decided to get a good chunk of golden high flow acrylics as well, and they all, even with the super tiny nozzle on that thing, spray through it like a dream. So,
have you messed with the one steps anywhere beyond just airbrushing them?
Not too much yet because I plan to, but what I had on the table, it's the salamanders. I actually didn't have much to speed paint. I was doing detail stuff, but kind of committed to the scheme. So
they are they're different than speed paints. My understanding is that the one steps are made more like traditional acrylics. They're actually like pigment versus the speed paints are typically dyes. So they cover and flow differently than typical speed paints. But I do like them. I haven't used them extensively, but I tried them out on a few different projects and I dig them.
The few videos I've watched on them, it looks like the speed paints are going to pull back and contrast heavier, but where they pull back, they're depending on the speed paint, mind you, because some of them are a lot more opaque than others. But for lack of a better word, like the pulling in the big open areas is not, and kind of doing the funky thing that speed paint. I don't think the one steps are going to do as much. Much like
the pulling and the coffee staining are not an issue that you're going to deal with really with the one steps.
They're transparent, but they're not quite as transparent. Maybe they are a little less gloss.
No, they have that typical matte pro acrylic finish, which I really like anyway. So.
And it's going to use the transparency to give you the contrast, and that you kind of have to go heavy where you want heavy and light where you want to go light. It's not gonna auto pull back on its own where you can just blob speed paint on a model, right? On a giant area.
Right. But if you tend to do a zenithal on your models, it will give you a solid one coat high and low contrast paint job. So they're an interesting tool.
What it did do for me too, because on this Fire Drake, on the top side of the wings, because I was kind of half copying what's on the website. I laid down some of the one step orange first, before then putting on a gray, and I don't know, it feels like it was a little easier to maybe glaze with the airbrush, for lack of a better word. But I'm not going to pretend that I'm anywhere near the artist or have the kind of the color control and thought that either you or Don have. I'm kind of just blindly experimenting and like, oh, do I like this or not? So,
you can get a color wheel online for free, right?
But then I'd have to learn how to use it. Because it's so hard to look at complementary things across the wheel from each other. But
right. It's so difficult to understand color triads. Well, all right, guys. Man, we keep running long with these episodes. Just all the bullshit coming out. Probably time to wrap this up. We're closing in on an hour and a half. So, if you are listening to us and you like us, like, subscribe, all the fun, typical stuff that you get asked to do on every other piece of content that you experience on the internet. If you want to chat with us, we do have a Facebook group, Pinned and Broken, on Facebook. You can pop in there. We're not as active as we should be, but we are around. So if you ping us, someone will respond. Podcast will also be available. It posts up on my YouTube channel, GamerDrek, as well as paint tutorials and battle reports and all the other fun, lazy stuff I do on the YouTubes. Josh, Don, Jordan, anything you need to plug or mention on the way out the door?
Not that I can think of.
Nope. I'm excited for diving back into Epic.
I'm excited for new stuff. Unfortunately, it's December now?
Well, some of it is in like September, October, and that December date may just be a hold, but I don't know. I'll see if I can get to the bottom of that. But in the immortal words of Jordan, as we close this one out, be careful how you wash. We'll see you next time.